Hi, I'm Kristen with Wildflowers and Fresh Food, and I'm so excited today. I've got Lee Bancroft. She is the founder of Femmsouth, the book club, and the podcast. And we've got Nafeesah as our special guest today. Nafeesah is a doula. A doula of labor and postpartum doula is her work. And Nafeesah, if you'll just tell us a little bit more about what that is in your business.
Okay, absolutely. My name is Nafeesah Salafi. I'm the owner of Daughters of Daisy Marie Doula Services and also nittygrittyskincare.com. I am a labor and postpartum doula. I help women give birth, and so I provide emotional, spiritual, and physical support during that process, and also support after they have the baby.
So you can see why I'm so excited to be here today. This is going to be just fascinating conversation. And we're going to be making a sweet potato and sweet black-eyed pea
and
collard green.
Yes.
A very warm, very healing soup.
Absolutely.
Was the podcast, was that your very first time together, or have you known each other for a long time?
No, we didn't, but it felt like we did.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I didn't. I just reached out to Nafeesah because I found her on an article when I was looking for someone to interview for our topic, which was women healers, and we read the book, Afia Takur's book, Conjure Women, which had its main characters were midwives. I was looking for somebody in particular in the doing birth work in the local area to interview, but it's interesting because I couldn't really find a whole lot of birth workers, and I found this article. I can't remember the title, but it was something about being Black and being pregnant in Alabama, and she was featured on that. And I think it was your Imbago birthing project.
Yes.
All right. So let's just get into the nitty gritty, and I want to talk about nitty gritty soon. And so we're gonna do some chopping to get started.
Yes,
Tell us what we do as the base of the recipe.
So the base of this recipe is going to be coconut milk, olive oil, onion, garlic. And I kind of let that simmer and cook down.
Okay, so nobody ever wants to do onion. I'll grab onion. How about? And I'll start dicing onion.
Don't give me the ginger. I really don't know what ginger.
Nafeesah's a ginger expert.
I'll do the ginger, which we don't have to use.
I'll do ginger. My kids are actually the ones that have to cut all the ginger and garlic for me.
Okay, we're on it.
I have to get steak.
I'm great at garlic. I'll do garlic and onion.
Okay. And I just cut off a piece of ginger here. Look at this piece.
I always see recipes say like an inch or two. Is that how you
I kind of measure it out with the spoons. Like after I grate it, I kind of put it in a spoon sometimes just to see how much I've grated. So usually I would say this is probably about a tablespoon of ginger.
Okay.
So that should work. After you have a baby, you want to work on the circulation of the mom. And so when you warm the body up, that helps prevent blood clots and things like that could be detrimental during that postpartum phase. And so that's why I like to use plenty of ginger. So I like to get moms involved with services in the early phases because we go through a series of things. Emotional healing, anything that's traumatic that has happened in the past. We talk about that. We journal about it. I provide a journal. And so because it's important for the mother to be very clear and have an open mind, because an open mind means an open body. So that means that her birthing process will be easier if she's not holding on to traumatic things that may have happened in her past. And then from that point, we start to talk about nutritional support, what it's going to look like after they have their baby, what that support is going to look like. And then I just help them navigate, make the best decisions possible. I give them information and the tools to help them, just have a better birth experience.
So what I'm hearing is every single person is going to have a totally different experience.
Every single person is going to have a totally different experience.
So why should I have a doula? I should have a doula because I'm having an individual experience.
That's right.
And that there is no package deal here.
Right.
Yeah.
And you never know, what's going to be on that journey. And sometimes it's very good to have somebody who's unbiased and who can help you have that guidance, give you that guidance and support.
Yeah. So, and tell me, Lee, if you agree with this. So I want to say, gosh, I wish I had this. This is new and wonderful. it's totally traditional, right?
It's very
this
traditional.
This is very old. This is not
This
new.
is old school.
I missed it, but
this is old school. This is very old school. So, as we've industrialized, in this country more and more, we forget that birthing is very natural and very instinctual.
Right.
And so that service of having a doula and a midwife kind of brings you back to that center where you're reminded of what you can do naturally on your own, as opposed to going into a hospital and getting an epidural or, having all these invasive, procedures. And so, and I'm not saying that's never going to happen or it shouldn't happen, but we do what's necessary when the time comes. But if the mom is healthy and she's able to give birth in a way that's going to be safe for her and the baby, why not have a midwife?
As a registered nurse and a mom and someone, obviously that's had babies, I think to be reminded that this is a perfectly natural experience and that this has been going on for a very long time.
Yes,
and as Nafeesah said to me, the baby's coming whether the doctor's there or not.
Right.
So it's just, but I love this whole thought of really feeling so cared and nurtured. Let's get our ingredients in the pot, in our communal pot.
Sure.
The three of us working together. I love all of this. So we're going to do
pot.
ginger garlic, onions.
It doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter, because that's
beautiful.
They're going to break down anyway as you cook it over,
Great.
course of time. They're going to get really soft. So, and that's the one thing you want to provide moms with is soft foods.
Easier to digest.
Exactly.
Oh, good. Okay.
Easier for her body to digest and get those nutrients that she needs. So this is perfect.
We talked about on our podcast, Nafeesah, that the importance of what you're doing and the connection that you feel towards, the heritage, your cultural heritage. So you talked about the foods being an important component of that when you're working with moms. So can you talk a little bit about this dish and its heritage?
Well, yeah, absolutely. This dish has ingredients that are directly connected to our African history. So our sweet potato kind of represents the yam, which originated in Africa and Asia. And so, of course, that was something that our ancestors would use when making soups and things like that because it was so nutrient dense, and also the collard greens, of course. So it kind of reaches back to what we call soul food, and so it's good for the soul. So that's why we use a lot of these dishes. And honestly, I learned how to cook from my grandmother and watching her. And so I would watch her make collard greens. So she would bring in these huge collard greens from a neighbor or from, I'm not even sure where she used to source all those greens from, but watching her wash them and soak them. So it represents just how much energy and love that you're putting into it. And so that's what I love about using these ingredients, because it kind of brings me back to that history of not only our family, but our community. And so that's kind of why I love these ingredients for this particular dish.
So for a new mom, a mom that's nursing her baby still, we need to stay away from too much spice. Is that right?
Yeah, you don't want to make it too spicy, but you want to have enough spice in there where she's going to be able to benefit from it. So try not to make it too spicy, but also you can customize it because some moms may want it a little spicy. So it just depends.
And of course, this is not just for new moms. Everybody and anybody's going to enjoy this soup. So tell me some of the spices that are in there, because we've got beautiful.
We've got some curry. We've got some turmeric, and we have some smoked paprika. And then I use a little bit of sea salt. I also use a little garlic powder. I use some powdered ginger as well, just to add a little bit more ginger to it. It's kind of what I feel like is going to be good for the mom, depending on what she.
It's really pretty.
So that's part of the doula services. You've gotten to know this mother. You know her emotionally, you know her spiritually, you know her personally.
And I think a lot of times moms don't think they can afford a doula. But it's important for them to know that you can find a doula in your area that's willing to barter with you or do payment arrangements or something like that. It's really not something that,
that's something
can't have. It's something that is mandatory, I feel like.
Yes.
I think that's important because a lot of people feel like it's out of their reach, you know, to be able to have an extra cost, especially if they're already spending so much on the birthing experience.
Yeah.
And our group focuses on African American women just because we know the statistics. And so it's important for us to get the information out so that we can save lives.
Is Femmsouth one of the very few book clubs that end up doing a podcast and reaching out,
Well, I think it is.
Yeah.
I think the podcast is definitely unique, but I'm starting to see a lot more organizations that are feminist focused or women focused having a podcast and a book club associated with them now.
Yeah.
It's starting to grow. Definitely, people are really interested in reading more and learning more about, you know, all these different issues that we're facing now, and certainly women, we have historically not had that information readily available to us, and so now it's like I think everybody's hungry for it, you know. So it's been really.
So now
the layering in the beginning.
So now that we have this first layer, then I go ahead and add
looks good.
our peas. So our lovely peas, which I love them in this bowl. This bowl is amazing. I just love this pottery.
Okay, so I think the beans are done, or simmered, so I'm going to go ahead and add these sweet potatoes, which are so pretty. I love the colors.
And sweet potatoes are rich in vitamin A, vitamin C, so that's really good for the mom as well. Mineral rich.
So soft food, like you discussed. Should I put in my collard? Okay.
Greens.
Oh, it is gorgeous. So we've got
that's beautiful. So, Nafeesah, I know you're really focused on eating clean as well.
Yes.
Can you talk about why that's so important and what that really means?
Of course, because we have to remember that we're feeding a new mommy and a precious baby. And so we don't want to give them foods that are full of pesticides and hormones and things that are not good. So it's always good to try to source out the cleanest food that you can.
Okay, so I opened up the coconut milk.
Yes, this is my favorite part because I love coconut milk.
I love coconut milk.
So all that fat is fantastic for the mom. So I always add more water to this because it's very thick, and so you want to kind of loosen it up. Okay. So I always just take some water and fill up the can because it's kind of like equal the amount that we already put in.
A good way to clean out the can.
With
all those goodies.
Don't you love that?
Yes,
I do that with my spaghetti jars. Spaghetti sauce jars. So once we get everything in, we just turn it on like a medium low and just let it cook as long as you want to. I like to taste it, you know, come back and taste it and see maybe if I need to add something or not add something.
How do we find you, Nafeesah?
So I'm on Facebook at Daughters of Daisy Marie. I'm also on Instagram at Nafeesah the Doula.
So we have the Femmsouth podcast, which is on iTunes, SoundCloud, pretty much anywhere where you get your podcasts. And then we have a website, Femmsouth.com, where you can subscribe to our newsletter. And then you get up-to-date information about all of our events because we host local events. We also have our book club meetings, so if you want to know what we're reading and if you want to get involved in the book discussion, then that's all on Femmsouth.com. And then you can follow us on Instagram and Facebook.